friends, how are you doing today? I've got some random makeup newness, new drugstore types of things in this video. I've got a couple things from Dollar Tree, just some new odds and ends here and there that I thought I would work into a look. So here's the first thing, lots of things. These are from Essence. They've put out all these new like kind of prep step products in two different kinds of categories. One is their jelly grip stuff and one is their bouncy plump line of things. So for bouncy plump, we've got the smoothing primer and the hydrating dewy spray. And for this gripping line, we've got the primer and the spray. They also put out an eyeshadow primer, jelly grip eyeshadow primer. I'm extremely intrigued and highly skeptical of that one. And then we have like this under eye gel. Seeing as it's mostly this jelly grip stuff, I think I might experiment with that in today's video and in a future video use the other. I think I'll try this under eye primer stick first, just to see if it's one of those cooling, smoothing sticks. Ooh, it does feel good. This isn't the first one of these kinds of things that I've tried. I mean, I know Wet n Wild has one. Oh, that feels really hydrating. Maybe heavier on the hydration than the real super cooling feel. Like, I think it just feels soothing as it crosses the skin just by the nature of this product, but it actually feels like it's giving me a lot of hydration right on the under eye. Now I already put my eye cream there. I use Vanny Cream, the thick, rich cream as my eye cream every day. Okay, secondary cap, because these sticks do tend to dry out fast. And I'm gonna try this primer. Jelly Grip Hydrating Primer, makeup gripping and refreshing, it says. Free from silicones and alcohol. Pumps like to take their time. I got some. It immediately feels way thinner than e.l.f. Just kind of a light, fresh scent. Not super strong, but I am picking up on it. But blends in with ease. And in my experience, sometimes these primers that claim to be grippy, but they don't feel like ultra sticky at the start, as they sit on your skin, that's where you can really pick up on the fact like, oh, I've got something tacky on there. I would say this feels thinner than almost any primer with this gripping claim that I've used. Even a little thinner than Hard Candy's, thinner than Wet n Wild, and for sure thinner than e.l.f. because that one really has that stickiness. We'll have to see how products apply on top of that, but then still to come, we've got these. Okay, I just swiped this whole foundation across my skin and I was not recording. It's the Maybelline Superstay Lumi Matte, shade 129 for me. I was saying how I kind of want to compare this to the new one and just keep an eye on staying power today. Staying power with this one has not really been the best for me, but the Plump and Glow seems to wear better. But this feels certainly thinner going across my skin. I just kind of want to get a fresh comparison for my own knowledge on that. I'm using my big ol', what's this, the Smooth Swipe foundation brush from e.l.f. All that surface area. Looks good on the surface of the skin. I think it's a little glowier than the L'Oreal True Match Nude Hyaluronic Tinted Serum. Still have foundation on my finger. What? Have you guys seen the trend going around where people are getting a bowl for their makeup, like a nice crystal bowl, or it could just be a vintage or thrifted bowl? They're using that to sit their everyday makeup in. Maybe I need to get a bowl. It seems fun and cute. Somebody started that on TikTok. For concealer today, you know what I'm using? My CoverGirl stick. I like this stick. The CG Smoothers stuff. Shade is light. Just swipe it on. Like, it's actually good coverage and it looks good on my skin. And that CoverGirl look that I did when I was using the old school stuff, that wore surprisingly well. The Ultimate Finish Compact and like the clean powder, this concealer stick. I was kind of shocked at how well that wore all day. She's knocking down some stuff. She's an angel. She does what she wants. Until she starts trying to chew the garland, then I get her down. Check it out. I'll then take my foundation brush, kind of just do some dabbing. Like, tell me that concealer's not awesome. Love. Then for a little loose setting powder, let's use good old Wet n Wild Photo Focus, just the regular translucent. The other day in a TikTok, I did a little Wet n Wild complexion routine. It was a day I wasn't shooting like another YouTube video and I was just like, what am I going to do for my base routine today? And Wet n Wild just felt good. And it always wears nicely, covers great. So check out my shorts for that. Or on TikTok. See, I'm trying to put it everywhere. Then we take this Morphe Under Eye Bullet Brush and we kind of say, hey, excess. Either take a hike or stay on there, but go someplace. Okay, all over my skin now. How tacky do I feel? Sometimes your tackiness, if you're like, okay, I put on a foundation that's not normally super juicy, but I'm still feeling tacky, that can sometimes come back to the primer. Things that are super hydrating, super sticky can cause your look to need more setting at this stage of the game. The Essence one, I would say it gave me extra hydration, but it's not over the top. I could take it or leave it in terms of adding a little more setting powder today. I think I'm just gonna dab this brush over my skin in those areas and let any excess just stick on. Okay, I got a new bronzer from Dollar Tree. It's from the Mercerie brand. Ring light says I'll be getting in the way of that, but it says Mercerie Sunlight Bronzer adds the perfect amount of glow. The shade is Sunlight Bronzer, but I picked it up because I thought the shade looked kind of different than a lot of my middle of the road bronzers. Middle of the road shade range for me would be like Rimmel Natural Bronzer and Sun Bronze or Sundance, L'Oreal Infallible Bronzer. It's in medium, you know, see like how there's a richness and almost more of a reddishness here. Really wanted to try it and just see what that would do. Looks like a bit of a satin finish, and it does look pigmented. Lightly go into that with my angled brush, and we'll just see where it takes us today. That's doing pretty well. Building slowly. But sometimes these bronzers that do have that little bit of a reddish tone going on, you know what I'm saying? Wet n Wild Wet Shady Beaches is kind of in that category. It's got depth. It's those kinds of bronzers that look more real and sun-kissed, I think. I'm putting it like where I would contour, but I'm also taking it up. Immediately putting the brush in the contour zone, but blending so it's almost in a blush placement. I would say it's really blendable. Like I just happened to get a little bit more on my brush than intended just there, and it immediately was able to blend into my skin as opposed to just sticking on a spot. I'm into that. I will for sure use that more. The texture of this feels much more expensive than you would think. Also, guys, I've used a lot of this little e.l.f. highlighter. You know, they put out these new highlights, the Halo Glow Silky Powder Highlighters. I love this one called Soft Pearl Era for just actual highlighting, but then I've been intrigued by this one called Bronzed Baddie. So it looks like this, and it's kind of like a straight, you know, brownie shimmer. And I thought, what is some of that going to look like lightly on my skin? I'm also intrigued about this one as eyeshadow, but I'm dipping my brush into that oh so gently because I don't want tons of added shimmer on my forehead, no. But I don't know, I thought it might take a little bit up there. I may be applying it so lightly that its effect cannot be seen. I don't know, guys. It's like I want it there, but I also don't want it there. With some shades, even shades that have shimmer, if you blend them sheer enough, you will be able to take advantage of the pigment, but not so much their shine. But the more you build, the more shine you will see. So I just lightly added some of this in. We'll see how the eye look comes together, and she might come back. Also, I'm not sure if I've applied this shade of Cloudtopia on camera. See, I have 3 of these now. I first used and loved talking about the Toasted Sky. Okay, great one. Then I'm fairly certain I used Ethereal Rouge on camera, either in a long or a short video. It's all kind of running together around the holidays. But then I've got Dreamy Dawn here, and I don't think she's been applied for you, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to dip into it with my finger. It's got that dense mousse-like feel, okay? Not the whipped, fluffy kind of vibes of Maybelline Dream Matte Mousse and Dream Mousse blushes of the past. We're talking a long time ago. These are more dense, but still super blendable, as you can see. You just go right over them with your brush, no problem. So that shade's looking really kind of blending out to be classic pink, it seems like. So I've been low-key a little bit worried about Belle lately and her hand. She took a fall catching herself from a stunt that she was up in on Sunday. It was one of those things where, okay, maybe just in the moment I wasn't quite so concerned because I just thought it hurts now, but maybe it's not long-term. It's kind of in this area. I think a lot of her body weight caught on this part of the thumb and her hand was kind of turned in a little. I don't know. It has not bruised badly. It has not swollen up. She's a super sensitive kid. She's the type of kid who will cry if her tangles are too tangly and you're trying to help her brush them out. She's been hesitant to tumble because of the way that feels. Last night she described it not as a stabbing pain, but as more of a like pushing on a bruise kind of pain, which she very well may just be bruised. I noticed maybe the teeniest bit right in this area, but there was just nothing alarming about it appearance-wise. And I'm just not sure if I should actually go to the doctor and get it checked out. Maybe I will. Nothing about it is saying broken bone to me, but I just want her to be able to move on with confidence, you know? And she really hasn't endured any big injuries, so I don't know. Another thing you can do with this stuff, which I love, is multitask it on your lips, and you immediately have a great, like, harmonious lip and cheek look. And it feels so soft, and these last very nicely on the lips. Both of my other colors have worn great that way, and they look just kind of like a blotted matte lipstick. I adore these products. Toasted Sky, while it can go dark, that feels very everyday to me too, but this one also may be one of the most everyday shades that I have. I'm gonna do my brows and then we're gonna talk about eyes. Brows are done. I did CoverGirl Clean Fresh Nano and I did Morphe Micromanager Gripping Brow Gel. So for eyes, do you guys remember in the CoverGirl video, if you watched that, I used the Country Woods quad and I said, oh, I also picked up this other trio that I'm not sure I've ever tried, but I've always seen. It's the one called Cafe au Lait. Looks like it could be very everyday. Looks like a little lighter intensity than Shimmering Sands, which Shimmering Sands is not super intense, but I thought I could use that, and I have this that could get involved as well if need be. I'm scared about this. The Jelly Grip Eyeshadow Primer. Why does this texture as an eye primer just freak me out a little bit? I'm gonna do it. Well, it feels nice and cooling, thin as can be, and ain't gonna do a lick for neutralizing any discoloration because it's gel. Okay, I dabbed it in. I will be shocked if this works well. I'm just saying. Long-lasting and intensifying, crease-free. Skeptical. It's sitting on there and it's not feeling really sticky. It feels like I just put some moisturizer on my eyelids. Let's do this. Let's make a thing out of this. We have shimmers here. Okay, that's gonna be our deepest. It's kind of like a cool taupe. We've got this softest pink, and then we've got a pearly shade. Okay, always down to experiment with a drugstore trio. Also, I have been asked, like, round up favorite duos, trios, and quads, and I need to equip myself, you know, with the knowledge, because the landscape on that type of product is changing a lot, I feel, in the drugstore, and I need to like kind of update my collection, make sure what I have is actually being sold. This looks so light in my crease, guys. This is the deepest shade. This was supposed to be the contrast. It's just looking like I put silver shimmer in my crease. Okay, I'm going to take that middle shade and that is going to forge ahead and go under the brow. And then I'm going to pull in that elf shade. If you want barely there lightness on your eyelids, this may be your gal. But if you're trying to like create a look, darkness, lightness, like it's quite possibly the lowest contrast trio I have. But we have this. And I'm really wondering about her. So, okay, pretend like that didn't happen. Going in here. The shimmer is very multi-dimensional. Like sometimes I turn it and I'm thinking, are you having a little red tone in your shimmer or what? But I've got this on my crease brush and we're just gonna start working this in because I know from the way she swatched that she can get dark. So I'm putting it in the crease. I'll pat it on the lid. I am forcing it to go over a taupey shimmer on top of questionable eye primer. I'm sorry, Essence, you just have not proven yourself to me yet. Bisky's eye is all good. I'm so glad for her. Yes, we are all glad for you, Bisky. Okay, picking this up with my Morphe M303, just cleaned it off. Yes, just that soft little something. We're going all over the lid with it. Elf just brought us a single shadow and didn't know it. I like that. It's coming off cooler than most bronzers would, okay? So a lot of people who like to just throw the bronzer in the crease, you know, this is far cooler. They do have a bronzy sort of color that's very, like, I don't know, coppery looking. in this range, but this one caught my eye for the multitasking, if not exclusively on the eyes. Here's what we're looking like now. Cleaning off small pointed in a really sophisticated way, and then picking up this, and I'm gonna like just maybe shape it out a little more, you know. Okay, like it's gonna be soft, but I dig that. And then I'm gonna take some on the very tip and go under the eye too. Ultimate soft, smudgy, sneaky. Just a little. Bottom line here, it's not gonna be intense, but it is gonna do something for you. One shadow look style. Also on the eyes, we're gonna have a little glitzy moment with this from ColourPop. They sent me these little trios, Super Shock shadow trios. There's 3 of them. There's this one called Coconut Cream and Soda. I think these came out ahead of the holidays, but they kind of got lost in my shuffle, unfortunately. But this is the most like neutral looking one. There's a Milk Tea and Boba that's got a little more of a lilac thing going. I know you can't see great here, but I'm only gonna go into the one today. And then a Matcha and Mochi that's a little greenish. But I thought, you know, a little splash of one of these on the lids might be fun. So in the trio I'm using, you've got a really light one here called Extra Ice. And the way these are, they're kind of squishy. You know, there's a little push down into these, but they are not a full-on like cream, you know? So I'll get them all swatched and then show you. These are all extremely glitzy, as you can see. So this one is Extra Ice. Raspberry Fizz is in the middle. And then this one right here is called Sweet Sip. Tons of glitz in these, and I just thought maybe we top off, maybe we do a little inner lid splash. I'm gonna use Sweet Sip. Just get a little bit on my finger and like add this to the party here. Look at that, just the shine. Right in the middle of the lid is where I'm going with it. I forgot how fun these Super Shock shadows are. Okay, reflective, cute. Next up, I'm throwing on mascara, and then we have more to talk about with the lip. Okay, my mascara is this Maybelline Lash Sensational Body, which I've been working with it, you know. Really didn't love it at the start. I wouldn't say I'm loving it now because it did take me 3 coats to get where I'm at, but I like where I'm at. The body is slow to build, but I think it's getting better as this mascara is getting a bit more age on it. I'm gonna use it, you know. I'm not overbuying on mascaras. I'm gonna use what I have, and I'm trying to make her work. And then e.l.f. Lash Extender on the lower lashes. And then don't forget, we have this. So this says gel to spray. I'm a little concerned that the mist is not going to be fine enough for me at this stage of the game. Like they say prep and set. Prep, I'd be okay with some big droplets getting on there, but to set, I don't know. It says shake me for fun. Okay, I'm going to try to mist it. If it seems like it's too big of a mist, I will go to this, which does seem like a straight liquid on the Bouncy Plump. Okay, it actually seems really fine. I think it's gonna be good. I don't know, guys. Maybe I didn't put enough on. Maybe I do want to try the other one. Bouncy Plump. This is the Refreshing Aloe Spray. This is the Hydrating Dewy Spray. The mist seems even finer. It got fine here to where I wasn't scared, but this one doesn't say shake for fun. Oh, that smells good. What is that smell? I like it. There I'm seeing the immediate like kind of impact you want to see from a setting spray. You don't look powdery, but you're not feeling too tacky either. You know, this Refreshing Aloe Spray might be real nice after like a day on the beach or something. A day on the beach. Why did that come out funny? Okay, so you'll recall what's on my lips is this Cloudtopia Dreamy Dawn. But I do have this from Mercerie, dollar store brand, Dollar Tree brand. Plump It Up Plumping Lip Gloss. By the way, I tried to go to my Dollar Tree yesterday and it opens at 9 and I went at like 9:10 and the doors were shut. What's going on? So I went to Dollar General. I wanted to look over the Valentine's decor because I, you know, just wanted to add some cute stuff in a few areas. My Dollar General had a whole Mother's Day section. I think the Valentines might have been in progress, but there were just a few things around. La Mercerie Plump It Up Plumping Lip Gloss Nourishing Formula. Smells very fruity, but kind of like real fruit, actually. It kind of smells like you just opened up like a fruit salad or something. Just gonna add some on top of my look here. I hope it doesn't hurt. I'm not into the painful plumping. I can take some tingle here and there. Texture is really nice. Almost like a liquid lip balm feel, actually. Let's swatch some of this because I think it's just, yeah, I was figuring it would be pretty transparent. Like I swatched it there. That's me being burned by the oven. That's the lip gloss. So far it's not giving any kind of feeling, but I'm gonna stand by here for a few minutes just to see if something develops. It feels rich. It almost feels like maybe a little less tacky than a lifter gloss, but a similar thickness to a lifter gloss, actually. And any kind of plumping at this point in time is maybe just that thickness and richness just kind of smoothing out lines, you know? Wait a minute. I think I am getting a little tingle. It's slight. Does it feel just a little cooling? Maybe it's having trouble getting through the Cloudtopia. Sometimes that's the way it goes with these. But yeah, that basically wraps up my look today, my friends. I realize a lot of things that I put on, like my base routine, was nothing new. But what's wowing me most? I know what's not wowing me much is this, but I'm not gonna toss her. She's gonna get to hang out here by Country Woods and Shimmering Sands. I can't say much about these primers yet. I'm not positive how like this whole thing's gonna continue to wear all day, but I'm keeping an eye on this eye look. I do like the thinness of this gripping primer, although probably not nearly as grippy if you love that. Like if you love that quality in e.l.f.'s, the fact that it's straight up sticky, this is not going to be sticky enough for you. But if you've wanted that to be dialed back some, this goes on very smoothly and easily, but maybe a little less tack to it than the Hard Candy, which I love the Hard Candy one. And I think what Hard Candy has done is put their Sheer Envy hydrating 12-hour primer into this grip-on lock. 12-hour hold, major hydration. I think that's what's happening there. Anyway, to be continued on those things. I realize there weren't tons of new things in this video, but I really do like this Mercerie Sunlight Bronzer. That went on well. I am going to keep using that. I am liking this as like the one shadow look, although we did, you know, twinkle it up with some ColourPop. I'm into these. You know, as I press my lips together, I'm feeling a little more tingle. Okay, so a very slow, non-aggressive tingle with this Mercerie Plump It Up Plumping Lip Gloss, but a nice feel. Did Dollar Store just come in and kind of have a couple of the standouts here? I really like the smell on this Bouncy Plump Hydrating Dewy Spray. But anyway, friends, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you again very soon. I love you. Bye.